Well, as we've said, the coronavirus will, of course, play a role in tonight's debate. Is that virus still a major threat to this country? Neal Elattrache is a physician from Los Angeles. He joins us tonight to assess. Doctor, thanks so much for coming on. Where do you think we stand right now with the coronavirus in the United States?
Good evening, Tucker. Well, there's no question we're in a different place now this fall than we were last spring. The coronavirus is still a dangerous and deadly virus, but we're in a far different place. You know, epidemiologists here and around the world are starting to call for a risk-based approach to moving forward, and we're in a much better position to assess what that risk is now than we were then. In the spring, we were operating under a cloud of uncertainty and under the cloud of the unknown. And people were afraid to make a mistake. They were afraid to do something that would be wrong and with potentially horrible consequences. But we've learned a lot since then. We've learned a lot about how to identify who the vulnerable population is and who the relatively safe population is. You know, the student age kids have over a 99.99% chance of surviving an infection. The average age teacher, the average age athlete, the average age working person has over a 99.9% chance of surviving an infection. So, but in those small fractions, the 0.5% of people over the age of 70 that would succumb to the virus, in those fractions lie our neighbors, our fathers, our mothers, our grandparents. Right. So we need to invest in identifying the vulnerable who will succumb to this and protect them. We've also learned a lot about testing. You know, we're in the midst of the playoffs in baseball and in the midst of a football season. The protocols for surveillance and testing is very robust. Some say, well, there's been infections, so that this isn't working. Well, on the contrary, it's working just perfectly, because we never thought that we would have no positive results, but we always wanted to be able to identify them quickly, isolate them, and stop the virus from spreading. And we've learned how to use those tests. Those
Right.
tests can tell us more than just a positive or a negative, Tucker.
Yeah.
It can tell us more qualitative results. It can tell you who actually has live virus that can infect somebody else. So depending on the sensitivity of a test, you can tell, is there live virus in this positive test or not? And so used properly, it can be very useful. We've
Right.
learned a lot about our immune system. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just think you make a very smart point. That the measure is not the infection rate, it's the outcome of those infections, and that seems to give us hope. Doctor, I appreciate that update on how we're doing. Good to see you tonight.
Thank you, Tucker. Good to see you.